So, we've laid fundraising targets. You know, this is the general outline of our finance plan across the top of this budget. This is what we need to raise every month to stay ahead of when we need to spend the money. How much do we need to raise in May?
35.
How many of you go, oh, no problem, $35,000 in a month? Piece of cake, right? No, we need to plan this. How are we going to do it? We do have some tactics for fundraising, right? What are the main ones? We talked about this yesterday. I know that seems like years ago to all of you cramming this info into your brains.
Call time.
Candidate call time.
Events.
Mail. Email and online fundraising.
Events.
And events. These are our major ones. We are in the first 6 weeks of our campaign. We are still building our mailing list and our email list, right? Remember what I said about email? Very low rate of return. It's only worth it once you've really built up a list. So we can't really do anything with this yet because our lists aren't big enough. When we start off our campaign, these are the 2 tools we have at our disposal. And you got some folks who are willing to host events, right? Start calling them, getting it on the calendar, and working with them to set goals. So let's say I have blocked out 4 events in the month of May, right? I'm doing 1 each weekend. And I have talked to my hosts and set some goals for these events. How do I know that these events are going to raise this much money? Who was in my class this morning? We set a goal, we've committed to that goal, and we are going to keep doing the work until this event raises $1,000, until this event raises $5,000, right? We have put that goal on the front line when we schedule that event, and we've all agreed to work on it till it gets there. So I have this blocked into my finance plan for the month of May as what I'm going to raise out of events. How much do I have left to raise in May? 25,000. What other tools do I have left to use right now?
Candidate.
Candidate on the phone, right? So we had a trainer's retreat in Vermont this winter where we worked on a lot of the curriculum that we're teaching you, and we had a big argument about, you know, how do we tell people to gauge what they can raise out of call time? Because the truth is that every campaign is a little bit different, right? It depends on who your first circle of family and friends are, how you're networking out. But we all decided that a safe number to start with for building a finance plan is $500 per hour called. It's very important that you as a campaign track your averages. What's the average amount of money you get pledged for every hour you spend on the phone over the course of 2 or 3 or 4 weeks? So you can adjust your finance plan as you go along accordingly. Everybody's will be a little different, but this is a safe number to start with. So, if I'm going to raise $500 for every hour my candidate's on the phone, how many hours do I need to spend on the phone in the month of May?
Wow.
Oh, it's going to get worse. Did y'all learn about the rule of halves in volunteer recruiting?
Yep.
Remind me, the rule of halves is you need to recruit twice as many volunteers as you actually need to show up, right? Well, there is also a rule of halves for candidate call time. They will be late, they will leave early, they will get distracted, they will break for lunch. Just because I schedule 50 hours does not mean we get 50 hours on the phone. In order to actually have you on the phone for 50 hours, I need to schedule you for twice as many. Hopefully your average will not be this bad, but we're putting in a safety net here. Let's say there's 4 usable weeks in the month of May. Those of you who hate math are hating me right now, I know. How many hours do I need to schedule a week to have my candidate making phone calls?
5 hours.
Probably.
No,
Nope.
you're running for office.
Yeah. So, especially
least he was gonna run for office.
Right. I'm watching you panic.
Right.
That's pretty darn terrifying, right? However, what do you notice about the budget I gave you? Look at it like it's a calendar. Look at that sample budget. How long is it?
It gets worse.
How many months long is that campaign in our sample budget? What does that tell you? You don't want to wait till 8 months out to start your campaign, right? Because it means you have to spend this many hours a week on the phone. If you were to start over a year out, this number might be lower, right? I also want to remind you that as we build our campaign through events, through call time, we're going to have more tools to use. You have to get started with a lot of time on the phone. As I said yesterday, this is how Barack Obama got started. Spending 25 hours a week on the phone in order to have the money to build the infrastructure to use the other tools. Terrifying, right? But you need to do this math and figure it out and schedule these blocks of call time, whatever this number ends up being.